William Lane Craig defending the existence of God, showing evidence for existence beyond the natural world. Let's take a look.
Number one, then, why anything at all exists. This is the deepest question of philosophy. Why is there something rather than nothing? This mystery, which according to Aristotle lay at the very root of philosophy, is one which even thoughtful naturalists cannot avoid. Derek Parfit, for example, agrees, and I quote, "No question is more sublime than why there is a universe, why there is anything rather than nothing." Now, experience teaches that everything that exists has an explanation of its existence, either in the necessity of its own nature or in an external cause. This principle seems quite plausible, at least more so than it's contradictory. Imagine that you were walking through the woods and you found a translucent ball.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. We're kind of growing this channel. Thank you for watching this video.
Lying on the forest floor. You would find the claim quite bizarre that the ball exists there with literally no explanation. And merely increasing the size of the ball, even until it becomes coextensive with the cosmos, would do nothing to eliminate the need for or to provide an explanation of its existence. According to this first principle, then, everything that exists is one of either two types. The first type is anything that exists necessarily by its own nature. Examples? Well, many mathematicians believe that numbers, sets, and other abstract objects exist in this way. If such entities exist, they just exist necessarily, without any cause of their being. The other type is anything that has an external cause of its existence. Examples? Well, mountains, planets, people, galaxies. They have causes outside themselves which explain why they exist. Now, it's obvious that the universe exists. It therefore follows logically that the universe has an explanation of its existence. So, what sort of explanation could the universe have? Well, it seems plausible that if the universe has an explanation of its existence, that explanation is an external, transcendent, personal cause. Why? Because the cause of the universe must be greater than the universe. Think of the universe, all of space and time. So the cause of the universe must be beyond space and time. Therefore, it cannot be physical or material. Now, there are only two kinds of things that could possibly fit that description. Either an abstract object, like a number, or else an intelligent mind, that is to say, an unembodied consciousness. But abstract objects can't cause anything. The number 7, for example, has no effect upon anything. And therefore it follows that the explanation of the universe is an external, transcendent, personal cause. That is to say, there exists an unembodied mind which created the universe, which is what most people have traditionally meant by the word God. So it seems to me that this is a sound argument for thinking that the explanation of why anything at all exists is to be found in a personal, transcendent mind which is necessary in its existence and which is the cause of the contingent universe.
So I find this argument very interesting, the contingency argument. So when you have this infinite regression, you have this timeline that infinitely goes back. You can't have this an infinite timeline because you can't not have an infinite regression, right? It's impossible. You know, if you take infinity minus infinity, you still get infinity just from the properties of infinity. So, and you know, infinity plus 1 is still infinity. So you can't have that beginning of the universe with a timeless pre-existence, because to turn from an infinite time to confounded time is very improbable, because you have the issues with infinity. But infinity is not really found in nature. It's mostly just a concept that's found in mathematics alone to express the eternal movement of something. So this contingency argument is saying that the universe had a moment of beginning, which science would back that up, right? And science was afraid to confess that, because that was their excuse outside of Christianity, is that the universe always existed, right? And as soon as they discovered and had evidence for a created time for the universe, this actually confirmed the beginning of the Bible, right? That there was a beginning. So now they're trying to change the definition of beginning. But when you have a beginning of something, you must have that cause. The only thing to cause the physical time, the physical being, and the confounded time, is to have something that's external of that, right? And what he gave the two options were for numbers and a mind. And what we see is, as he said, number 7 is incapable of enforcing anything onto nature. It is itself is a mind, right? Or it is itself as a concept. So, with mathematics, they only describe things. They aren't enforcing anything onto the nature. But a mind is capable of thinking and comprehending and to manipulate something. And that's what God is, right? And so obviously they try to throw it at you. Well, if that's created, then how is God created? And you cannot get into this infinite regression, right? So there is that one thing that we are presupposing that is eternal, and a immaterial, intellectual, not bound by time being, which would be God, an uncreated being that always is, brought everything that is confounded by time, physicality, and science. That is that beginning of the universe.